A lot of people mess up here. Have a look at the traffic light. Have a look on the right. Oh my no. Welcome back to Mock Test Plus, where I have no idea whose driving test this is, but it is a real driving test. We're going to get nice high energy on this video. I'm going to give you all of the tips and tricks, obviously, that you need to pass your driving test. This is a beautiful rainy day, so you've done your declaration down at the test center, which is a million miles away from where we're actually parked, and we'll go see that next. You've been asked to read a number plate from 20 meters away, which is your eyesight test. If you can't do that, your whole test will be cancelled. And if you pass those two, you'll now be asked your tell me question while you're sitting inside a nice warm car out of the rain. And your tell me question doesn't have to be correct, but do give it an attempt. It will be a minor driver fault if you don't manage to answer it correctly, but always try. It will just be a minor driver fault. Now here the speed is important because we want to keep to the motorbike and the skip on the left in case there's any pedestrians or oncoming traffic. This is the car park. You can see there's an examiner way down yonder walking back with what looks like a driving instructor. And we don't want to get any of the examiners either, so make sure you take a speed nice and gentle at the beginning of your driving test and nice and gentle, you guessed it, at the end of your driving test. Now here we have some more bad jokes. We've got a George Bush, and just above it, can you see that circle mirror? That's very important to see if there's any oncoming traffic. Be ready to stop. It's extremely narrow here. This is what I'm going to start calling the narrow points. So a very narrow point, just wide enough for two cars. We have to go so slow here. Now make sure you don't go into the oncoming side as you exit the driving test center. It's very important that your positioning is not past the center line, which would obstruct, wakey time, any of the oncoming traffic. Now here it looks like we're going to be turning left, talking about positioning. So you know the procedure for junctions. It's probably like 100% of the test. Oh, look at this police car here. All right, now watching for signals. It's signaling left. It's not a police car. It just looked like it, right? So I thought it was an undercover police car. You saw that though, right? It wasn't just me. Okay, back to junctions. Mirrors, signal, position. So always inside mirror first, outside mirror second. Apply the signal, depending on which way you're going to be turning. I'm going to burp. Maybe not. And then you're going to position yourself. So if you're turning left, you're going to signal left and position left. And if you're going to turn right. So let's look at the positioning here. Looks pretty right now, doesn't it? A little bit out, in. Okay. So we turn left here at the roundabout. This is coming up to Flower Lane. I can't remember the name of this road. It's an incredibly long road, and it will take you, if you go all the way to the end, to a set of double roundabouts called Page Street roundabouts. If you get the roundabouts, which we're probably going to get, and it's raining like it is, it's going to make these road markings at the roundabouts a little bit difficult to see. That's Flower Lane on the left. That'll take you to Mill Hill Broadway. Oh, we're going Mill Hill Broadway then. So again, another mirror signal position. And turning left. Flower Lane with no flowers. Maybe a nice long road like this. Examiner might ask you the tell me question. Now the tell me question, some people can fail it because they lose control of the vehicle. So you might have heard, can I fail for show me tell me questions? As long as you give it a go and you don't lose control of the vehicle, no. But if you lose control of the vehicle or you affect the traffic in any way while you're looking for the buttons and switches, you can potentially fail. Okay. So that could have been a road for the show me question there. We've done a pull over and stop on the left. This learner is incredibly close to the pavement. The examiner is now asking the student to edge forwards roughly 1 car length away from the vehicle in front and then move away. So now's a good opportunity. Left shoulder, right shoulder, break your neck, look out the back windows, signal right, and let's go. Nice. Not wasting any time. Good demonstration of a nice, safe opportunity. That is called an angled start. Also, you'll know it as moving off. Moving off will be done 3 times. Let's try the THs again. 3 times on your driving test. The examiner asks you to pull over and stop on the left. If they ask you to pull over and stop on the left, look for raised curb next to trees or lampposts. That's usually where you're going to find raised curb. Unless the examiner asks you to stop on a yellow line or park or stop again in front of a driveway, do not stop on a yellow line or obstruct anybody's driveways. Position here, turning right, mirror signal, position just like the vehicle in front. Excellent positioning, allowing any vehicles we can see behind us that may want to try to turn left. Now we're turning right. You can see it's incredibly busy as we turn onto Mill Hill Broadway High Street, and that's going to take us towards the Mill Hill Circus roundabout. It's a good opportunity to go here. The red traffic light on the left has stopped the traffic and given us that little gap with the traffic on the right that's given us space, allowing us to move out and cross over to the road safely. So if you can walk out, you can drive out. Mirror signal position left, so we must be either going left, which is probably going to be the way we're going. That would take you to the next biggest roundabout. If we go straight ahead, you can also use the left lane to go straight ahead here. So we go to that green traffic light and take the second exit. Let's look at the position. Quite left. Oh, no. Okay, so we're going to take that second exit. Traffic light's changed. Nice smooth stop. You can see the traffic behind has been dramatically affected. So that's showing very good awareness here at Mill Hill Circus roundabout. If you notice just before this white car behind us pulled up, you can feel free to rewind. There are keep clear zones on this Mill Hill Circus roundabout. It caught me out. There is a clip somewhere of me getting stuck in the keep clear. Even though I noticed it, I still could not escape the keep clear zone, and I failed my mock test because I stopped in the keep clear zone. So very important that you know your roundabouts for your driving test. This is a Hendon Driving Test Centre, but today we started at Mill Hill. Mill Hill and Hendon are next to each other. They're on the opposite ends of a long road and they share exact same test routes. So here we are turning off. We're going to do our mirror signal, exit, and we're going to follow this road, a nice long road. There are opportunities to turn left off of this road. A lot of people ask how many driving test routes are there. Generally I'd say 4, north, south, east, west, unless it's Barnet, and they never go south ever. So generally 4, but then you can branch off onto side roads just like this one to do maneuvers. So different side roads, different days, slightly different routes because of that, but generally 4 different ways to go. Again, we're being asked to pull over and stop on the left again. This time would be on a yellow line. The examiner would say, don't worry about the yellow line. Avoid stopping next to that van, which would obstruct that red vehicle oncoming. Look at that, see? Perfect. So the learner hasn't stopped next to the van where we had the pedestrian walk out into the direction of the oncoming traffic. It had to swerve there. Had we stopped next to the van, that could have put that pedestrian in a vulnerable spot. Not saying who's right, who's wrong. It's just brilliant that this is very good defensive driving from the student, stopping in a nice safe place here. And then we're going to be moving away. So remember, we've got to brake on next. And I mean that. You've got to really look over your left shoulder, out that back left window, spin your head round like the Exorcist, and look over your right shoulder, out that back window. Make sure you always apply your signal when you pull over to stop, and always apply a signal to move out like we just did now. If you're asking yourself the question on your driving test, oh, emergency stop. Aha, and there's a vehicle behind. That was a little bit mistimed from the examiner. DVSA, if you are watching. So, what is... okay, interesting. My attorney advises me to make no comment. Now, back to what I was saying previously. If you ever ask yourself that question, do I need to signal? The answer is always yes. I love yes and no. I love very clear-cut instructions, making life a bit easy, especially to remember. So if you ever ask yourself the question, you're by yourself, do I need to signal? The answer will always be yes. Okay, so like I said, you can take different side roads, do the manoeuvres. We had the pull over stop on the left. While you were stopped there, the examiner would have given the student the instruction. We're going to drive on, we're going to do your emergency stop. If it's safe, I'll put my hand up, say the word stop. When you hear the word stop, you need to do your emergency stop, just like you've been practicing, as a French driver, with your driving instructor or your company driver. Now, it's a good road for this situation here. Another one, meeting situation, so I should label that. Good distance for stopping from this white car, allowing plenty of room to then move out afterwards. Looks like the examiner may have asked them to actually stop here again, leaving one car length like we talked about earlier, and then doing your move off. So here again, break your neck, really look over your left shoulder, really look over your right shoulder. I'm actually struggling to kind of figure out what's going on here, but you're definitely going to move off. Now there's a car coming, wait. Sorry, the back camera glitches out. I don't know why. This file, I think, it's a minute-long file for the back camera, has actually disappeared. So I think because of that emergency stop, maybe something happened there. So it looks like we're waiting for the car behind, which we can't see on the camera at the moment, but it will come back shortly. Maybe the students had a nice good look over there and seen this oncoming vehicle. That's gone through, so that makes me believe that the vehicle behind isn't really there. It must have turned or parked. So interesting what's taking so long here. Alright, we're off. So unless it's necessary, that's why I was kind of talking about why are we here for so long. Do try to just make that snappy observation, left shoulder, right shoulder, out the back windows. Make sure that signal's on again, always apply the signal, and away we go. Alright, so we've got a learner car behind us then. I think that's a learner, maybe another person on the driving test, who knows. There's enough room for us to continue there. It's good to see the learner car behind. Having the same situation as us, so you can judge, you can actually see the size of that vehicle and the van that passed there and seeing the gaps between. All right, end of the road, mirror signal, let's see the position. Looks like we're close to the center line. I would call this a right turn. I could possibly be wrong. I saw a little bit of a lean to the left, but judging by the position, we're not really pointing left, which would suggest a left turn. We're pointing straight at the sign on the opposite side of the road, which is the correct position for a right turn. So, oh, I can see it on the dash. Look at that. We've got the Gloria, aka my ex-wife, the sat-nav there, and you can clearly see at the top, that's beautiful, that we have the arrow there. So talking about that, look at that, 700 yards until the next turn. This is amazing. So we've got this for the rest of the independent drive. It gives us quite a lot of information, obviously the name of the road, how far away the road is, 600 yards, which is quite far. It's just gone down to 500, and the direction that we'll be turning in, which is going to be a right turn. So when we get to 100 yards, that's 100 yards, we're going to start to check our mirrors, inside, outside. That's the mirrors done, check. We're going to start to apply our signal, and that would be a right signal in this situation because we're going to be turning right. And then finally with position. Now this is the hardest part. Position, especially for right turn. Is this an accident? I believe this is an accident. We've got double solid lines here. So this is very difficult. So we're going to talk about position now. Position for right turn would be not to cross those lines. Now due to this accident, we have to cross these lines. This is an awkward situation, and double solid lines mean no overtaking on both sides of the road. So this is a situation where the traffic is come to a complete stop. It looks like we got a flash from the oncoming vehicle, which may have seen the situation here. Beautiful chateau there. Thank you, Mr. Transit. We've got the old school Bentley there, I think that was. That was quite nice. The houses here are absolutely stunning. Okay, back to the sat-nav. We have 200 yards. Remember, we're looking for 100 yards, so we're counting down now. 160, 150, 140, anyone, 100. That's me in a previous life. 100 yards now, it's where the traffic light is. A lot of people mess up here. Have a look at the traffic light. Have a look on the right. Oh my, no. Have a look on the road. Oh, okay. It said keep clear. Unfortunately, the student has stopped in the keep clear. Even looks like they stopped a bit past the stop line there at the red traffic light. Okay, so I would say that's our first driver fault for sure. That would be a serious driver fault, by the way, for road marking. So have a look on the right. There's a no entry sign there. Have a look at the road. Yeah, you got the road markings. Brilliant. Keep clear there, and the right arrow, which is important for us because we've been told to turn right. So we couldn't turn right at the traffic light where the keep clear was, where we stopped by accident, and there was a no entry sign on that road on the right. Looking ahead, we can see the right only arrow in the center. That's called a box junction, and we've done our correct position for our right turn, which is call back to what we started with, which was those double solid lines earlier, which I said was the correct position for turning right. We don't go past that line down the center of the road. So for turning right, it's the hardest part. Just position down the center of the road, touching the center line. Do not go over the center line. So that is the hardest part for turning right. Positioning. And remember, we've been saying this for every junction. Mirror signal, position. Now we could possibly be turning right here. This is a triangle junction, but just looking at the sat nav, these are other test routes, so that could be a right turn. I can see it's 600 yards turning right. So we've got a long road here, country lane, no pavements for pedestrians. There could be pedestrians. We could have maybe horses in the road. There could be anything potentially because there's no pavement. Just plan for some kind of hazard being in the road. If you can't see around the corner, be ready to come to a stop, as there could be a hazard around the corner. And we've got that 20 sign speed change now as we went round that bend, coming into a school area with the flashing triangle sign, the warning sign there. Okay, 200 yards on our sat nav now, and we're going to be turning right. So as we pass a school here, the zigzag yellow lines, which means no parking. We're going to go up 100 yards now. Get ready, everybody. Interior mirror check, right mirror check now. Signal right and identify the junction. It's just this next road here on the right where the parked car is. Position to the center line. Slow. Stop. Stop. In line with the center of the road. And then when it's safe, come to a turn. Excellent. Pretty decent turn there. And we're turning right again here. The examiner will tell you slow, stop, mirror signal position, turn, okay? Just don't rush it. Looking behind us, there was no traffic on the side on the junction, so that was safe. They did have a vehicle behind them, so that was excellent to just continue to flow through those junctions there. Nice right turns, good timing, and it's all down to that routine. Call back, mirror signal position. And we're talking about that position, which is the center line, and that's what we need to be positioned next to for right turns. So really focus on that one. Use that and apply that in your crossroads, especially the larger crossroads. They can be a little bit difficult to understand where to position in a crossroads for turning right. They're just as important as roundabouts, everybody. I know everyone says, I hate roundabouts. If that's you, leave a like on the video, and 80% of the viewers are not subscribed. I don't know, maybe hit the subscribe button as well, that'd be nice. It's absolutely free. Taking the next road on the right. Oh, that was a guess, and I looked at the sat nav, I'm correct. Interior mirror, right mirror, signal right, position to the center line, meet the center of the road and turn. Excellent, good right turn. We're going to be approaching Mill Hill Broadway, where there is a roundabout on the right. There is a road on the right which is incredibly narrow. It's very hard to turn into that road. As we pass it, because we'll be going all the way to the end, I'll try to highlight it. In fact, the double-decker buses use this road and they go up and down it, which can cause quite a bit of an obstruction. But before that, it looks like we're going to be doing a forwards bay park. Forwards bay park is always done in a public car park, just like this one. So as you enter the car park, you'll be given directions, and the examiner will then ask you at some point to choose any bay. Any bay. Just has to be one of the first aisles. So you can't go driving through the middle of the car park, through all the bays, and then position into one of the bays. It has to be one of the first bays. So any bay you choose, just finish between the lines. So it looks like we've got a nice start position here. We're very center. We've got equal distance from the left and right. If you want to give yourself an advantage, get more distance from the bay that you wish. So whatever bay you wish to use, take more distance from it. So if we were going to say we're going to park where that white van is with the red stripes on the back of it, what we do is we move all the way over to where that tiny little smart car is and the learner car is on the right. You'd go all the way over to those bays on the right, giving you more room from the van with the red stripes on it to then turn and angle. This is a good demonstration. You see how they've gone out and in. We call that a swan neck, and that's very useful for this maneuver. That way you're going to have a straighter car as you enter the bay, as you can probably start to see here, as we can see both markings, and the car's about halfway in and it's almost coming to being straight, which is very helpful. What we can't see on this vehicle is that there is a screen in the middle that will actually show you if you're inside the markings. Also, we've got quite close to the edge of the bay there. I wouldn't suggest going any closer than that. And I think we're inside the markings. From what I could see on the video there, it did look like we could see both bay markings. And if that's correct, then we're just going to reverse out next. So this is where the examiner will say, okay, are you finished? If you say yes, you're finished, the examiner is then going to ask you to reverse out. They may specify what side to reverse to, so just listen to examiner and they'll give you the instructions next. Looking behind us, we do have some people entering the car park here. So the number one reason for people not being successful in a driving test is observations. So make sure to break your neck again, as we do need to have a good look out. Back window on the left, back window on the right. Really twist your body, move your shoulders. I can't emphasize that enough. It is the number one reason. So please do remember your observations. For anybody that's an experienced driver, 50% of your driving test will be the observations and mirror checks. So we've really been talking about that a lot on this video, and that's the mirrors, signals, and the position. So as you can see, it's just mirror, signal, position, mirror, signal, position, mirror, signal, position. When you pull over and stop, you're going to do that break your neck, and if you do any parking, you're going to do the break your neck observations. If you can remember that and apply that to your driving, you wouldn't probably really need any driving lessons unless you want to learn the routes and just make sure that you're up to scratch by doing some mock tests. But for anybody with experience, really take that on board if you're going to retake your test or you're from a different country. Some people do watch this in other countries, call out to them, especially the States, whoop, whoop, and that's what you need to know. So if you're coming from America as an example, yeah, just make sure you keep distance on the left as well. That's a big one. For anyone that's been driving on the right side of the road and they come to a country that drives on the left side of the road, there's always situations where we're way too close to parked cars or the pavement on the left. So really 100% focus on the left side of your vehicle if you come from a country that drives on the right side of the road. We're heading down towards Mill Hill Broadway in the High Street here and the roundabout. We could go either way at the end of the road. And I did mention there was a narrow road earlier where the buses use. That vehicle in front, I thought was going to turn there for a second. Very narrow here. That was squeeze. And it's the next road on the right. You might see it's very narrow and you can go there as well. we're going to be turning left instead. Okay, so we're just going to come to the end of the road here and join the dual carriageway. There's 2 dual carriageways at Mill Hill and Hendon, and this is one of them. I believe it's the A41 and the A1, I think is the other one. If anyone knows better, please put it down in the comments. We can see it's called Watford Way, and some landmarks here. Just behind us we had the roundabout, the Mill Hill Circus roundabout, which we had on Zara's test, the last real mock test that we did. So if you want to go and have a look at that, that was a particular good one. I counted quite a few serious driver faults. If you did watch that, it was just the one driver fault. And have a look at that one, because there was some junctions especially which can be very confusing. One of them was a staggered crossroads, and that was done amazingly. See that white van on the left? You can turn into that road, but we're going way too fast for that. That's one of the junctions the examiners can ask you to do. That is a very difficult, like we were saying about staggered junctions, staggered crossroads. And we also had a no entry sign, where a lot of people don't see it, and unfortunately Zara didn't see it either and tried to turn into the no entry sign. There's also zebra crossings that are very busy because they're near a college, and there was a person using that crossing that decided to use the crossing from the far side, from the Donald Trump, and there is an island in the middle. That means it's 2 separate crossings, so you can go, you don't need to stop. And she stopped. So anyways, just go back, you watch the first 5 seconds, you'll see exactly what I described to you, all the highlights there at the beginning, to get people interested into watching the rest of the video. If you are and you're still here, hit the thumbs up. We're going Page Street. Always drive over yellow. That was a bus stop. You can always drive over yellow. That's Five Guys on the right where the bridge is. That's 5 ways. And it is a little bit complicated, but we've just done a little left turn here. So you can come from any side of 5 ways. There's 5 different roads. That's why it's called 5 ways. Practice that with your instructor, or if you're watching videos like this, just make sure you see that bridge. Start paying attention. That's 5 ways. This is Page Street. So we've come from the dual carriageway, turning left onto Page Street. And at the top of Page Street, we have twin roundabouts. And what I mean by twin roundabouts is that there's 2 roundabouts and they're very close to each other. Maybe 1 car length or 2 in between the junctions. We also have another set of twin roundabouts near a huge, infamous roundabout called Apex Corner. And a lot of people will know about Apex Corner. There is another set of twin roundabouts there. The most common driver fault is not identifying the second roundabout. Now, if you have any confusions about directions, where to go, ask your examiner. They will do their best to give you the directions again and again, even if it's an independent drive. I love this. They've been asked to pull over and stop here on the yellow line. You can definitely do this. And they've done that nice and smooth and gentle. Always signal when you pull over to stop on the left. Always signal when you're about to move off. We can kind of see, even though there's the glare there, that there is some traffic behind us. I can see another vehicle coming, and there's obviously oncoming traffic at the moment. The road is a bit wide, so even with the oncoming traffic, I think we could proceed, as long as there's no vehicles trying to overtake. Looks like we had a nice opportunity there, and we're off. We're now going to be approaching those double roundabouts that I talked about, the Page Street twin roundabouts. Now, we may just be doing one of them. However, I have a suspicion that we're going to be doing both. I'm guessing we're going to be going straight. It's not on the sat-nav anymore, so independent driving's finished now. From that, straight at the first roundabout, left at the second. Nice observations, good cruising through, no traffic at the first roundabout to stop for on the right side. Position here is on the left. Again, no traffic to stop for on the right side. So again, nice smooth move. Yes, yes, yes. Excellent. Well done. So that needs to be a top priority. Whoever designed roundabouts to put zebra crossings on the exit, let's just give them a trophy. You can name the trophy, put it in the comments down below, but do know that that's super common. So as soon as you think, yay, brilliant, I've completed the roundabouts, just be ready that there could be, and there's quite likely, just let the car go if they do that, a zebra crossing on the exit. So do keep your vision long and anticipate a pedestrian crossing at any roundabout. Talking about roundabouts, we're going to go under this bridge. We've got a cyclist before it, and then we're going to have our roundabout after it. So with this cyclist, it is not wide enough here to overtake. It's a 30-mile-an-hour road because there's no traffic signs, speed signs, and there's regular street lights. Now, it's still not wide enough. Oncoming traffic, not wide enough. So we're going to stay behind and we're going to keep our distance. If it was safe to overtake, we may consider overtaking. How do we know if it's safe? There must be no traffic. And we've got to keep a good distance from the cyclist when we overtake, which is about the width of a car. It's actually 1.5 meters. So it's quite a wide gap. So we must keep that gap from cyclists and pedestrians if we're going to go round. After the bridge, after the cyclist, I promised you a mini roundabout. This takes us back to the driving test centre. We're finished. What do you reckon? Pass or fail? Comment down below. Roundabout, turn right. Mirror, signal, position. Look at the position, go into the circle, into the circle. No, why are you going around the circle? Go into the circle. I say that with a little bit of a laugh because it's very common. Everybody does it. Just imagine there's a cyclist next to us, or there could be a motorbike or a car even. Try to keep our position for a right turn into the middle, into the circle. Just like this, into the middle, into the box. Nice position. A lovely flash of the lights. Good confidence there from the learner. No time wasted. And get in there. We're back to the driving test centre. Now, if you were the examiner, would you give that a little pass? All right. Now, we had that mirror we talked about at the beginning. Nice and slow as you start your driving test. Use that mirror there to see if there's any oncoming traffic. Good positioning here from the learner, keeping the left-hand side of this open space here. We do have oncoming pedestrians as well. You could have other learner vehicles, and there are businesses here. So slow at the beginning, slow at the end for the reasons that I've just stated. And there you go. That is Mill Hill Driving Test Centre. It has been a pleasure. If you've enjoyed the video and you want to see more like this, there's a few more coming. And don't forget to go in the description, sign the petition if you want your driving test back to £62. In the description, sign the petition. This doesn't have to be perfect. If you want your driving test to go back to £62. At the end of the driving test, they just want you to get it in the bay, so it doesn't have to be perfect. You've done your manoeuvre, and that's it. Switch the engine off. That's the end of your driving test. And congratulations, you have